Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to my channel, and in the description box, if you would like to book in for a personalised reading, if any of this resonates with you, then please do. The details are in there, how to get in touch with me. So we're going to do something slightly different today. I've already picked the cards for a Celtic cross. Now this is quite a traditional way of doing tarot, and I haven't actually done this for a while, but I thought it might be fun to do something slightly different. It has a bit of a specific energy to it. So we have like current situation and all the things around it that are kind of affecting this situation. And then we have moving through here, you know, things in your environment and things that are kind of, you know, any advice in there, and also then the final outcome. So this is exciting. We shall see where we're at with this. As you can see, I've already got an idea of where we're going with this. I've already picked the cards already. I am going to work with the runes as well though on this. So before we get into the cards, oh, my hip just cracked then, did you hear that? I'm going to pick 3 runes to go with this and see if the energy is resonating with what we have already on here. So with our current situation, where are we at with the runes? Okay, we have answers. This is very strange. These came out this morning in a reading that I did, but the other way around. Very strange. Well, it's not strange, is it? This is just the norm, really, for me. No way. This is exactly the same runes that came out this morning when I did a reading. If you look on my list, there would have been a reading that I did outside, and it's exactly the same runes. So whoever's watching this video, you must be watching a lot of my videos, or you watch every single video, so I'm so grateful for you. Please do make sure you drop a like and maybe even leave a comment as well. Although don't leave a comment, like somebody left a comment, I took it down because I was just sort of like, they were commenting on what I was wearing, so I just thought, right, I'm going to wear all black then today, so nobody can be bothered about what I'm wearing. So yeah. So please be nice with the comments, otherwise I'll just take them down, or I might give you a sarcastic thing back. I don't know, it depends how I feel. Okay, so getting into this now with the runes. So what we have, there's an element of communication. This is a situation I feel that's kind of like part 2 of the reading that I did this morning. So there is this communication I feel that is going to take place. It's going to happen. There's a communication that needs to happen with this. And Hagalaz is representing a sudden change, like it's a tower moment, like something's really changed, something's really happened that sparked this need for communication to happen here. You know, this is kind of like expressing a truth, allowing things out, which is very, very interesting. And Sawillo is suggesting about intention. You know, this is coming through with intention. Somebody really wants to get a message across. Somebody really wants to begin a new cycle, I feel. There's an energy of, yeah, I'm going to get into it with the cards, I feel, because, and I may pick more runes to go with the cards just as for confirmation and clarity as well. But I'm also going to pick a moon card because it's good to have a keyword, something to go with that kind of gives you a little bit more information on there. Oh, okay, well, we've got quite a few, but I'm going to go with the one that I can see on there, which is surrender and request. Okay, I think we'll have that one as well. So surrender and request. Okay. We're going to leave those there for a moment. I'm going to get into the cards and we'll come back to those at some point when we get into this and see where we're at. So, first of all, the current situation we have here. This is the Queen of Wands. There is a need for taking your power back. This is somebody that wants to be standing in their power and feeling confident in this particular situation. And I feel that you are confident in this situation. You're confident of what you can achieve within this. And I do feel there's an element of real determination, real passion as well. This situation has kind of awoken a passion within you that you are like, yes, I know what I'm going for now. And the Queen of Wands, she always gets what she wants. Yeah, she is a very strong person, very strong leader. Has like a kind of magnetic energy where I do feel for some of you, this is kind of a situation where, you know, you perhaps have had that shaken a little bit. So it's to make you realise like, well, actually, where is my confidence? Where is my power? I need to take my power back. I need to get my power back in this situation. Yeah, so there's a lot to do with having confidence here, having that confidence in yourself to overcome the challenges within this situation that are happening. Now, the challenge itself is an interesting one. We've got the Two of Wands, and what it's speaking about is, interestingly, you are having to make a decision, and this is part of taking your power back, between feeling like you're in a codependent situation and then feeling your individual success. So it's like trying to know which way to go on those two things. And there's an energy here of like, the challenge is you want your needs met. You want to, there's a certain need, and there's a lot of wands in here. I'm going to say that there is a lot of wands in here, which do suggest about urges, things that you want. I've said before about the Two of Wands reminds me of Nordis, which is that need fire, which is like, you know, primal energy. It's kind of, you're inspired by passion right now. And that's the challenge at this point, is deciding between your individual success. Can you put your confidence, your passion, your Queen of Wands energy into that, or this codependent situation over here? Because I feel like that's your challenge, is like you have sometimes a want to sort of cohabit or be in something, and you can lose yourself in that. Whereas, you know, going after your individual success, maybe that's a new venture for you, and it's something that you want to, you again, both sides, there's passion there. There's a passion on this side and there's a passion on that side. But I do feel the codependent passion side, there's an element of something you're not getting from that you want to get from it. And that could be maybe this someone you want to connect with you, want to get in touch with you, or that you want to be with, but at the same time you want your own individual success as well. There is a way that you can get balance between the two, but it's working out, you know, can I get my needs met and have what I want? It's basically like, can I have my cake and eat it? Can I, what do you want? And I think that was the reading that I did last night, was about what is it that you really want? It's getting to know what your needs are. Yeah, what do I need? What do I want? How can I move forward with that? I'm going to get a rune just on the challenge there to give us a little bit more with that. So what do they need to know from the runes to do with this challenge? Okay. So it's heading towards what makes you feel the wealthiest. The situation that makes you feel more wealthy. And I feel for some of you is you do feel like you want to be held in something. You want to have your life with somebody. And the other direction feels like, well, that's kind of lonely. That's sort of me being on my own. Whereas wealth can be not just in terms of money, but it can also be in terms of, you know, I'm wealthy because I have a lot of happy family around me. I have a lot of friends around me. I have everything that I want. You know, I've got a happy home. So this is the options that you've got, really. This is the challenge. Is sort of like you could go off looking for your individual success, which would bring you financial abundance, I feel. and you'd feel like, you know, you haven't got to share that with anybody because it's just for you, and there is an element of wanting to go down that route, but something's pulling you back over this way that feels, I feel like there's a fear there of just letting things go and, you know, settling in too much in that. And I think that's the word, is settle. And you don't want to settle. You feel you want to be independent. So there is a decision to be made on that. That is what the challenge is coming up on here. And it's a challenge to your confidence. It's a challenge to your passion, because you're passionate in both ways. So is there a way that you can come up with a middle ground for that to help you? So I'm going to put Fehu on there as well. And if you are trying to manifest wealth into your life, so if you're trying to manifest financially, that is possibly why this is coming out as well. Is, you know, on your own, maybe you don't feel that you can do that. Whereas being in this situation with somebody else, maybe you feel like you can, because it's like combined forces bringing that wealth in. And there's a part of you that, you know, you do have some ambitions, but you're not fulfilling those ambitions currently in your work, in where you're at. Okay. So what do you need to focus on at the moment? And the card that we have for that is the 10 of Wands in reverse. It's quite interesting, actually. I took a picture earlier today of it's like a little den that somebody had built out of lots of sticks crossing over, and it kind of reminded me of this. And I did take a picture of it, but I didn't post it. I might post it a little bit later. There is a need. What you need to focus on right now is about taking the pressure off. You've had a lot of burden, a lot to deal with, a lot to carry, I feel. And this is kind of very much on an emotional level as well. So again, it's kind of a knock to the confidence, a knock to be feeling inspired. You're not feeling very inspired right now. So this is about reducing that pressure and looking after yourself, because it feels very much like, you know, you haven't kind of got the structure of your ladder right, and you're trying to climb up that ladder, and it's just, you know, you need to take time to really make sure it's firm. I've got the words belt and braces in there. So, you know, take your time, focus on you right now, focus on getting that stability, because it's almost like the straw that breaks the donkey's back. How much more pressure can you put on yourself in certain ways? Something has to give. And this is the point where you're at now, is what you need to focus on is, what is it that needs to give in this situation? What needs to give? And it's, again, you can't have both these sort of things going on, or all these different directions that you're trying to go in. And a lot of that is about you figuring out as an individual, who am I and what do I want? Because it almost feels like there's lots of different parts of you, personalities of you, that you're trying to sort of be all of them, but it's not really working out for you, because you don't feel like you really have any time. You're not really enjoying anything. So it's like, pick a version of you that you want to grow, that you want to work on, and strive on that, because that's what you need to focus on, is relieving this pressure off yourself right now. You know, stabilize that ladder so that you can climb to where you want to be and what you need to do. Okay. Now, we have here what's in the past and what you are leaving. And it's interesting, because we were talking before about this independence, your individual success, things like that. Now, this is the Knight of Wands in reverse. Now, when the Knight of Wands is that way up, this is about somebody that's like inspired, going off traveling, doing lots of things, chasing those dreams, chasing those ambitions. But this is, I feel, someone that is, you know, you're over it, keep moving around. You're over sort of trying to get here, there and everywhere. You know, the idea of this travel, maybe you don't want that anymore without somebody to travel with. Okay, that's what I'm getting from this, is There's this, you've seen what wealth really is, or what you believe it really is, and it's possibly not what you have been holding on to in the past, is what I'm getting. You know, I do feel that you have a desire and a passion for adventure, getting out there, but right now there's more of an energy of staying put, being still, being present. You know, that feels like what is you're letting go of, is kind of like that version of you that is sort of, I've got to go here, I've got to go there, I've got to go everywhere, I've got to get all of this done within a certain time frame or by a certain age, that kind of thing. It's like I can see somebody like ticking off the map, like I've been to this country, and I want to do it all by the time I'm 40 or something. You kind of learning that, you know, why are you putting all that pressure on yourself? Yeah. So that's what we're focusing on here, is like loosening the load, taking that pressure off yourself. You don't need to have that pressure, because something here is, it's squashing your inspiration, it's squashing your passion. Because actually there's something more that you want, but you are holding on tight to this belief or thought from the past that is no longer really resonating with you anymore as an ambition, as something that you want. There's so many like wands in here. I mean, you've got all wands that are to do with like the actual situation. You know, you are a very passionate person, you have a fiery energy, you've got confidence, you've got charisma. I do feel you are somebody that kind of does bring inspiration to others. You bring a lot of fire, a lot of passion. I do feel perhaps you're a little bit flirty as well, that kind of thing. And you do have these kind of urges. Maybe you're very spontaneous with how you normally are, but something here in this particular situation is kind of affecting your confidence in that path, in the way that you thought you wanted your life to be and where you thought you were going. Because what you are leaving behind here is this need for flying off somewhere, going somewhere. This is about you having a feeling of needing to stay. Okay. So we are going now into the near future. So your near future, we have the Queen of Swords, but she is in the reverse position. And this is about, so what we're talking about there's an element of bitterness. There's an element of, again, we've got answers on there. This is about lack of communication, or a communication that's kind of feeling like bitterness. Now, this could be, doesn't have to be, but could be a feminine in your life that you are having that lack of communication with, or there's bitterness there around this person. And what this is guiding you to do is to kind of use your head more in this particular situation. So, you know, have a plan in place, be strategic, and allow yourself to be brave. You know, why is that bitterness there? What is that all about? The communication feels like cold. And maybe that's why there's this element of surrender on here. It's kind of like, you know, why is this the way that it is in your near future? You know, what is it about this situation that maybe it's that powerful, fiery energy, that real confident, sort of charismatic energy? Maybe is that holding you back from surrender? And maybe is that creating about a bit of a barrier between yourself and somebody else, that's kind of bringing a bit of a cold communication? It's like somebody throwing water onto the flame kind of thing, isn't it? It's putting a bit of a dampener on things. And I do feel that in your near future, it's affecting your way forward. It's affecting your ability to move forward. I'm burping again. And again, that's about healing. There's healing that needs to happen here. There is an element of healing, and that means surrendering. There may be as well a time, if you look at that, it's like an egg timer. This is about timing, and I do feel it's kind of like taking time. It says request on there, so it's kind of like maybe even though the communication may be cold or there's bitterness in the communication, if you kind of allow your communication to be more soft, surrendering something that shows this person your integrity or your truth, that kind of thing. Or maybe this is you that needs that from somebody else, you know, maybe you feel like, you know, I just see somebody waving a white flag, like coming in, like waving the flag, like I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to say anything that's going to hurt you, but I do feel like there needs to be a communication. There's definitely a want for communication, and this communication is going to bring a sudden change, a major change. So if there hasn't been communication, there really needs to be in the near future, to get this queen the right way up, because when she's the right way up, you know, this is all about a wise leader. There's integrity there, there's bravery there, there's truth there. So this is kind of like a lack of truth that's maybe created a bitterness in this situation. I'm going to get a rune to go with that. I don't know why I slapped her face. I don't mean to do that. Let's have a look. So, what do we have for the near future? Yeah, okay. I do feel like this is maybe somebody that you love or would like a balance with, of giving and receiving. You want to put things right. There's a want for balance in that particular situation. And it does feel like there is love there, and forgiveness as well. There's a want for forgiveness. Gebo is all about that, and like unconditional love, forgiveness, giving and receiving. You know, it's kind of telling of sacred marriage. So it's, you know, where two people have decided, you know, what their roles are in a particular situation, in a particular connection. And any connection that doesn't have truth, trust and communication is going to end in bitterness and resentment. And I do feel that there's a want to, in your near future, to create a balance between giving and receiving. There's that want and desire there for that. So that definitely needs to be rectified in that near future. So using that energy of the wands to inspire you, to bring that passion and the inspiration to put that right, to bring it right. Now, in our advice, we have the Ten of Swords, but it's in the reverse position. So this is kind of like, with what's happening in the near future here, there is definitely movement here. There's something that is going to take place to do with communication, but it may be met with a little bit of bitterness to start with. But it's only a matter of time before you actually start to turn the page. And I do feel that the advice that you're being given here is almost like all of those swords are being plucked out one by one. It's like there is no need for those swords anymore. There's no need for that to be there. It is only a matter of time before you start to turn the page on this chapter, and you are allowing a choice to be made. It's like, I've decided I don't want to feel this pain anymore in my back. Normally the Ten of Swords is like somebody lay on the floor like this with like 10 swords in their back. It's, yeah, some of the cards I've seen in some decks, they are not very pretty. This is actually not too bad. But in the reverse position, it's kind of like, you know, it's pulling those swords out, whereas that position, it's like they're going in. So it's time to take those swords out. This is your advice. Take the swords out. It's time to turn the page on a new chapter. You have made a decision here, and it's going to allow freedom and release because something has been held so tightly. And I feel like that's what's going on here, is almost like somebody kind of running away from themselves almost. But you're leaving that in the past, because now you are more about the truth being exposed, the truth being held up to dissolve the bitterness, to dissolve things that aren't quite going right or feeling too good. I do feel with this one, there's something about looking into like the mother-father wound type of energy. So I do feel somebody here, if you haven't already, is maybe looking at maybe going through some form of counselling where you can, you know, talk about these kind of things from the past and how they might be affecting your relationships or your way forward in this life now, in your time right now. And this, to me, what I'm being given is like symbolic of every session you go to is like, we can pull out another sword now, we can pull out another sword. We can't change the past, you can't change where you've come from or anything that you did in the past, but you can choose not to run away from it, and you can choose to work on pulling out what is causing the pain to allow the wound to actually heal. It never goes away, and the scar will probably be there forever, but at least it can heal. It's not an open wound anymore, and it's not going to affect your way forward. So yeah, that's your advice, is that there's been a choice being made here. And it does signify that it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before a page is going to be turned in this particular situation. So your environment, then, we have the Page of Coins. So this is, like we were saying before, about, you know, going to counselling, that kind of thing. In your environment right now, you are being called upon to meditate, to kind of maybe gain some form of knowledge. You know, take your time for you. Do something just for you, for a change. And you maybe, before you've looked externally for validation or to feel good about yourself or to feel that you know anything. Whereas this is kind of asking you to sort of, you know, grab that book that you always wanted to read, or listen to that podcast that you've been putting off, or go and do that course that you've always wanted to do, you know, go and do that yoga training in Goa or something that you've always wanted to do, that kind of thing. But this is about that, you know, take some time to meditate on your way forward. And that again brings us to this staying put rather than leaping off here, there and everywhere. Okay. You have met a place of feeling like you need to sit with yourself. And when you sit with yourself and you meditate, you actually access all of the answers that are already within you. And it's like magic sometimes, because you're like, oh, well, that actually was a lot easier than trying to find the answer through a distraction over here or something else over there. Because you are actually taking the time. And yes, it can make you feel vulnerable, and yes, it can make you feel uncomfortable sometimes, but actually, you know, getting comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, in time you find that it's no longer a challenge, and you are bringing yourself home to you, like within you, that's home. Not other people or external influences. Find it within you first. And then when you do get into connections with people, they kind of complement that, because you're meeting them at the same level that you've met yourself. And that's what you get in life, is in your environment, you will bring to you the kind of vibration of person that you are vibrating at. So if you're vibrating at a higher level, then you will bring in people that vibrate at that higher level. If you're trying to connect with people on a different level to you, they will vibrate out of your life, basically, or you will vibrate out of theirs. So the more you grow, the more you learn, the more you do. And you may be finding this in your life at this time, is sort of like there are people, places and things that are kind of changing around you, because you are leveling up. You are starting to illuminate things and highlight things that need to be changed. I'm going to pick a rune on that one, actually. I'm interested to see if it's the one that I think it's going to be. So in your environment then, what rune do we have to go with this? See, I just can't get it under 30 minutes, can I? Okay, that is interesting. That is interesting. It's not the one I thought it was. However, it does contain part of that rune within it. So this is the rune Manas. And Manas is all about awareness. So with the page of coins, oops, and Manas, it just banged into Fehu then as well. So it's kind of bringing that wealth, a wealth of knowledge about you to you, if that makes sense. And that you can only obtain from going within yourself. Manas has the kind of energy that can be, when you're observing yourself, when you're becoming aware of yourself, there can be an element of falling into a little bit of a depression, or falling into a little bit of melancholy, or like this rune has come up for people as the overall rune for many people who kind of have lost their way in their life, or they don't feel like they know what their purpose is. They don't know what they bring to the world. So you are being guided by the Great Spirit to really focus on learning about you right now. Find that study that you need to do, because it contains so much knowledge, and it could just be through meditating, it could be through doing breath work, adopting something that helps you to connect with you on a deeper level, to really understand and become aware of what you want, what you need, being aware of your environment and aware of the people around you and how things are impacting how you feel in your life. I see somebody that needs to really, really go within, because you've been so busy going without and going around the houses to different people, different things, maybe going to parties, stuff like that, but not really focusing on you. It's like distractions all the time. And that can create this kind of melancholy when you are on your own and you kind of just shut down into that space. Okay. Spirit just said to me, and it sounds a little bit harsh, but stop wasting your own time. Time is precious, and you are entering a stage of wealth right now if you can go within in your environment and do this work on yourself. Okay. So we're moving into your hopes and your fears, and I have to say this is quite a promising card that you've got coming out on here. It's interesting because the Wheel of Fortune on there, it's got like a dog. I don't even know what that is at the top. It looks like kind of an old woman with a lion's tail and some wings, and a monkey. But it kind of reminds me of the three hares. I don't remember the story though now, but there's a story, I think it's a Christian story or something, about three hares. So go and look that up, because that might be interesting to you. But there's something about connecting to the moon, the energy of the moon with that. And this is about, so your hopes and your fears are kind of like you want some luck right now. And I do feel as well that you are ready to complete, you know, a cycle's been completed. You're ready for this new chapter. You want a new outcome, a new cycle to begin. But there is this fear. The fear that is in here is about losing something. You have a fear about, there's a want for a new cycle, but a fear of losing. So like, for instance, if you look at the wheel on there, there's a little handle on the top. So that's making it seem like, you know, it's a manual job to wind that up, okay, to keep winding it up. Now there's a point, isn't there? There's only so much energy that we can create through our own bodies. And without that nourishment, without kind of like being good to your body, eating well, drinking well, things like that, you're going to run out of steam. And I feel like there's that fear with this. So your hopes are for this new chapter, this new beginning. But there's a fear of running out of steam with it. There's a fear of not being able to go the full circle. and losing something that you are passionate about, that you hold a lot of passion for. Okay. Yeah. So that is the energy that I'm getting from there. But there's a real need to kind of let go of some of those fears that come from past experiences, okay? Because if you're spending this time in your environment, you know, and you are spending time working on yourself, going through this healing process, taking those swords out of your back, allowing those wounds to heal, and then through those wounds healing, you are meditating, nourishing yourself. What happens there is that I feel like that you're going to enter a stage of losing a particular insecurity about not having, because you're going to feel so full up of wealth and security within yourself that you're not going to feel like that anymore. Okay, this is what you are entering into. This is you making sure that you keep that in mind of this is what you're hoping for, this is what you want, but you have to do the work in order to achieve it. It's a bit like I've got to say the words imposter syndrome, like somebody going into something and feeling like, yeah, but I don't feel like I'm actually fully that, and I'm trying to portray that I am, but I'm really not. And I feel like that's possibly why there's this energy of somebody kind of like, right, well, I'm gonna have to leave now. You may be the kind of person that has had a job for like a year, maybe 3 years max. I'm saying this because that is exactly how I've been in my life. I know this energy so well, where it's kind of like, you know, once you get to know people for a while, or once you get to know a certain thing for a while, it's time to move on. We move on to the next thing, and it creates this pattern in your life. But then you get to this point where you're like, actually, I'm not feeling like inspired anymore. I don't feel like I'm passionate about this anymore. I'm losing communication with things that actually are important to me and that make me feel balanced. But it's good because this, you know, your wheel of fortune is kind of proving to you, like the universe is asking you, or the great spirit, whatever you want to call it, it's asking you, do this inner work on yourself and you will be rewarded. You will be blessed with what it is that you want. Stop fearing what you can't have or what you're going to lose, and, you know, turning yourself away from things for fear of being hurt or rejected or not being able to have the things that you want. This is more turning your energy into luck and kind of going, I feel lucky today. I feel that I have done all of the work on myself, and I know I'm going into something now as wanting a new chapter, wanting this new beginning. You know, I'm ready for a new cycle now. And it's exciting. It brings that passion back. It brings that inspiration back. And that's kind of what you're looking for. And then in time, you will be going on those adventures again. But right now is kind of like this, really putting your wand down into the ground, earthing yourself, going, yes, I'm kind of ready to really become stable within myself. And that is your new chapter. That's your new beginning. Now we have judgment as your outcome. And what this is talking about is a want for renewal and rejuvenation. So you're looking for a fresh start here. And it's a fresh start that is kind of like with the judgment card, you're being divinely protected and watched over. There's no coincidences as to the things that are happening in your life. If this feels like with Hagalaz showing up here, that this has been a difficult time for you, or there's been a lot going on that's made you feel like, this is heavy, or, you know, I've realised a lot of things about myself, a lot of things kind of changing on here. Well, this is your awakening. This is, you know, revealing to you the things that need to change. So the outcome on here is this complete awakening, rejuvenation, and a time for renewal. Okay, you've been given this opportunity, this blessing. So now you know what to do. Now you know what it is that you are being guided to and asked to do. And please do listen to this video as many times as you need to go back to the advice column and about your environment, you know, and what's going on there in that near future. Okay, so that we can get this to where you want it to be, to where you need it to be. And the future's, I'm not going to say that, it sounds like remember Orange, the phone. I was going to say the future's bright, the future's orange. But anyway, you know, this is a time for really allowing yourself to be rejuvenated, to allow that awakening. I'm going to pick one last rune for the outcome to go with that. Let's see what we have on here. Okay, yeah. So we have I was. This is transformation. This is a time of awakening, a full transformation. So that is your outcome on here. There's a death to what was and a rebirth to what will be. And it all starts with you, you know, looking at that challenge of like, well, what do I want? This independent success, or do I want it to be with somebody else sort of success? And you have the ability to choose, but it's about deciding, you know, what is getting the most for me right now. So what you might want to do with that challenge card there is think about both situations. When I tell myself, this is what I'm going to do on this situation, how does it feel? Where do you feel it in your body, and does it feel good? When you think about the other one, where do you feel it in your body and does it feel good? And decide between the two, which one feels the best. And that brings you into this being in your environment and working on yourself, because you are then guiding yourself. You're trusting yourself to know the answers without asking anybody else, without trying to guess or, you know, putting it in somebody else's hands, what your future is or where you need to go with things. Taking it in your own hands, awakening to yourself, unveiling this version of yourself that you know is there. Okay, so I'm going to leave this reading here. If you would like to go into this in further detail, then please do get in touch for personalised reading. And again, please do like and subscribe to my channel. Maybe share it as well if you feel this might resonate with somebody that you know. And I will speak to you again very soon. Blessed be.